Sound check. Sound check. Hi, welcome back. I hope you got to see this sunset, which is really amazing. And today we are going to be talking about one verse of the Bible that talks about fasting. And I'm going to try to make you understand the real meaning of it, because sometimes we get just with the part with you don't eat some stuff or you eat less, and that's not it. Actually, it is much more. So I'm going to read from the scriptures. When you fast, do not look gloomy like the hypocrites. They neglect their appearance, so that they may appear to others to be fasting. Amen, I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face, so that you may not appear to others to be fasting, except to your Father who is hidden. and your Father who sees what is hidden will repay you. So if we read this, it looks like he's telling us that when you fast, you don't have to look like it. And we're used to listening or to knowing about people that they diminish their food, or they stop eating some things, or as you know, on Good Friday we don't eat meat. And there are different ways of living the fasting, but we don't need to wait for Lent to fast, because the Lord, what he's actually talking about is about being able to empty ourselves for some desires that we have, that maybe having room that should be filled with him. And I like to say that fasting is actually a disposition of the heart. If our heart is actually willing to be closer to God, we must know that sometimes we need to die for some things that we love, and in a way that we can be able to live in the Lord's love. And fasting is not something that you live from the outside to the inside. It's actually the other way. We live, for example, if I am fasting of social network, for example, I won't live it externally, because nobody knows when I am looking at my phone or what I am looking into my phone. But they will notice probably my absence from the network, or they will say, why ain't you replying to my messages, or you didn't like my post, or whatever. But it's something that you live from the inside, because it's me who is deciding not to be more in the social network, and then it goes out to people that I have around. But in this example, it shouldn't be because I don't want to be seen, because I don't want to. It doesn't come that way. It's because I want to be closer to the Lord. So probably if I am taking too much time or spending too much time with a social network, I cut that out so I can be able to have more time of prayer, more time with my family, more time with my friends, so I can be able to take something out, but to fill it with good. And with this disposition of the heart, and knowing that it starts from the center to the out, and sometimes the out is not something that you can see, but something that only the Lord can see, it takes us to that part of the phrase that I just read. And your Father who sees what is hidden will repay you. And what he's saying here is that we don't need to be showing off what we're doing. And people doesn't need to be able to recognize something about our fasting. And you can choose whatever you want, something that is difficult, something that is easier. I think that we have to start, if you never fast before, with the little things that we know that are taking time of quality time with the Lord, so we can be able to minimize that and give him more space. And in this way, our heart is prepared, and the disposition is better to be able to have this intimacy with the Lord. And if we read in previous verse of this chapter of the Bible, we read, because it talks about different things. It talks about alms and about prayer. It's actually in Matthew's gospel, when the Lord Jesus teaches the Our Father prayer. Previous, we read the phrase that I just read and this other two. But when you give alms, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your almsgiving may be secret, and your Father who sees in secret will repay you. And then he repeats again, but when you pray, go to your inner room, close the door, and pray to your Father in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will repay you. And it's really beautiful, because I was thinking about this and thinking about how do we express love to others. And most of the time we need tangible things, things that you can touch, things that you can see, things that you can actually know that are there. And that way we used to love others. Sometimes it could be a message that we write to somebody, a phone call, a hug, a gift. But most of the things are tangible things that we know that the other one will love. And when I was reading this and thinking about what I could say to you, I was thinking, what do I give the Lord? What does He likes? And I'm sure that most of the things that we do in our daily lives, He loves. But these things that only He can see, I think that are the most precious one for Him. Because when we are acting or doing anything about doing something, we always have the view of others over us. And even though we don't need to be caring about others' opinions all the time, we do get affected by what people says, or do they know why I am doing this, or should I do this way or other way, depending on what people would think. But when we think about the things that only the Lord can see, only Him, it's amazing. And I want you to actually think about that. What are the things that I do that nobody sees? Because the Lord is there too. And when we're fasting and He encourages us to do this in secret, what He's actually asking is to get some time to have intimate moments with Him. Because if I decide to pray for somebody, a rosary, and I just go along the shore here in the Sea of Galilee, and I pray for that person, I am sure that the Lord is hearing me, and He is the one that will make this prayer and transform it into a conversion, a healing, or whatever I am praying for. And that's between Him and me. And maybe if somebody asked me what I was doing, I could just say, no, I was walking, I was talking to the Lord. But I don't need to specify, yes, I was praying for somebody so he can be healed. Or we can do that too, and we can ask others to pray. But the point that I'm trying to get is that when we get this intimacy with Him, then we can be able to have these like one-to-one moments with Him. And through this fasting, through giving up some things that are hard for us and giving it to Him in secret so nobody knows, I think that's a beautiful thing to do for someone that has given everything for us, for someone that cares for us and give us beautiful sunsets, beautiful friends, amazing family, the opportunity to be listening to me, which I don't know if it's great or not, but I believe that it's a blessing for you to be able to go online and make the decision to hear His word through the people that goes in front of this screen. So sometimes we just keep the part of, no, if you want to fast, you don't eat, and that's it, and then you offer it because of you need something, or you're asking for an important thing to the Lord. But we also need to look at this, which I believe is the main thing about Lent, and it's being able to elevate our souls, our spirit next to His. Because when you are, it's like we just read, when He told us about going to pray, go to your inner room. So that is where your fasting has to be happening, in your inner room. Close the door and pray to your Father in secret. Close the door and love Him in secret. As He's your spouse, He's your big love, He is your first love, He's your creator. So it's beautiful to have this way of expressing our love to Him. And there's another phrase in John's Gospel that says, the person who is trustworthy in very small matters is also trustworthy in great ones. And the person who is dishonest in very small matters is also dishonest in great ones. So it's interesting. What do we do when nobody's watching? And what do we do when we are aware that the Lord is always there? And not as something like, oh, he's a spy. No. It's more like he's kind, he's loving, he knows what's deep in our heart. So if we actually try to get this relationship with him and we try to have intimacy with him, that's what is going to be rebuilt in our hearts. It's going to be rebuilt that what we do with real freedom is what we do for him. Because I am sure that even if you don't care nothing about others' opinion, they have an effect in our lives, in our way of doing things. But when you are in front of the Lord, when you are just with him, you can only be yourself, because he knows everything inside of your heart. He knows even better than you what's best for you. And I know that he knows me better than anybody else. He's my creator. He's my true love. He gave his life for me. So when I am in front of him, when I am aware of his presence next to me, inside of me, in my inner room, I can be just myself. I can be just what he created me for. Because sometimes we can be infected with social talks or opinions, but when you are there in front of the Lord, you can only be yourself. So I encourage you to do fasting, to think about what you could offer to the Lord, and just start with the simple. So when you are trustworthy in the small things, you will be able to be trustworthy in the greater things or in the big challenges that the Lord has given you. So I will just let you one question, and is, what do I do when nobody's watching, and what do I want to offer to the Lord? Enjoy these last minutes and just ask him, what does he want for you, and what is he calling you in this week or days, or you just can decide whether you want to do it or not, but what is the Lord asking you to do? Thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow.
abundevas Maya nectadasis ma tite malkuta meue sebiana aikana devas Maya abajada hablan lahma de suncana mia humana basbuka lanakaubay aikana dachna sbachne lechaibay Ulatalana le mesiuna e la pasana mendi. Abundevas Maya nectadasis ma tite malkuta meue sebiana aikana devas Maya abajada hablan lahma de suncana nia humana basbuka lanakaubay aikana dachnan sbachne lechaibay Ulatalana le mesiuna la pashana membi abundevas Maya nectadasis ma tite malkuta meue sebiana aikana devas Maya abajada hablan lahma de suncana nia humana basbuka lanakaubay aikana dachnan sbachne lechaibay ulatalana le mesiuna el apashana